So in the previous lesson, I was demonstrating how to use the different paintbrushes. Like if I swap to my black, if I swap my black swatch to the front, exchange it, X is for exchange, that's the shortcut, then I can paint invisible parts of my layer, and then if I swap back, press X again, then I can paint it back on. And I wanted you guys to notice what is happening in the thumbnail for the layer mask. You can see that I'm painting it more white and the black is going away because less and less of the image is becoming visible. It's almost completely white, and I can actually fill it with white too. So if I go Option Delete, it fills it with white. If I exchange my swatches so that the black is in front, so I press X on my keyboard and I go Option Delete, now that whole layer has been filled with black. The thumbnail of the layer mask is filled with black. So I don't actually fill my screen with black. I've just filled that one portion, and it makes everything on this thumbnail hidden. Now, if you accidentally are on the wrong thumbnail, for example, if I click on the left thumbnail, which is the actual image thumbnail, and I go Option Delete, then, let's see, hold on one second. First, I need to make the layer mask go away. So, go back to, I'm switching foreground and background color so that I hit X and the white is in front, and I go Option Delete, and it's Option Delete on a Mac, by the way, and Alt Delete on a PC. I know I keep going back and forth between the two computers. But, okay, so now everything's visible, and then if I actually go and click on the other thumbnail and go Option Delete, then I fill the entire layer, that particular layer. And as you can see, the ivy's in front of it, but if I were to hit Control and my left bracket and move that layer down, it's moving down. And so I'm actually filling that one layer with black. So it's important to remember which thumbnail you're on. So I'm going to go back in time. Okay. Before I filled the wrong layer, the wrong thumbnail, the wrong side of the layer. So I just want people to make that distinction. Make sure you're on the actual thumbnail for the layer mask and not on the other thumbnail. Oh, and if I hover over it, it says layer thumbnail, and then it says layer mask thumbnail. So the layer thumbnail versus the layer mask thumbnail. Always make sure you're on the layer mask when that's where you're trying to affect it. So that being said, there was one thing I wanted to show you. You can actually use any of the other tools, like for example, I can take my rectangular marquee tool, highlight this whole leaf area, and then hit, make sure I switch my default colors here so that I'm on black, which is to hide. I want to hide the leaves now, and hit Option Delete. It fills, in my thumbnail, it fills it, the whole square with black. And the way that appears is that that portion of the layer is hidden. And so if I deselect now, I have just my vase. And we are positioning it over to the right side of the fireplace. And one more thing. So if, for example, I have my paintbrush and I accidentally, whoops, let's see, what's going on? Oh, I'm accidentally painting it invisible. I can either go Control Z, or I can switch paintbrushes and repaint it back on. And that is the beauty of the layer mask. And any of the other paintbrush tools will work in that department. You can use the gradient tool, which is, it looks like it's a rectangle with a gradient going through it, and then draw a gradient so that half of the layer is hidden and half of it is visible. So it's just a black and white gradient drawn within the layer mask thumbnail. Make sure you're on the right thumbnail. You'll know when you're not on the right thumbnail. It'll be obvious. So that's pretty much it for layer masks. I definitely encourage you to play around with it a lot.